DJ Grandmaster Scratch. He's one of the pioneers of Richmond. We're going to chop it up with him right now. Let me bring him on. DJ Grandmaster Scratch, man, how you doing, brother?
Good, man. How you doing, Scott?
I'm doing pretty good, man, considering this pandemic and all this crazy stuff going on in 2020. How are you and yours holding up, though?
Man, just trying to evade all that disease and, be safe, man.
Yeah, likewise, man. It's a scary situation, especially for those who've got kids in the family right now getting ready to go back to school. It's kind of crazy.
Exactly.
But you know what I'm saying, your music history on the West Coast goes back several years. Man, let's start at the beginning, man. How did you get involved in hip-hop?
Man, I grew up in a musical household. My father was in a band. You know what I mean? I grew up around a lot of percussion instruments and a lot of records and, reel-to-reels and recording equipment, microphones and stuff like that.
And this was you know what I'm saying, the early stages of hip-hop, or?
Yeah. I mean, I got into music in '89. In 1980, I started DJing, you know what I mean? This was back in the Mantronics and Tita Rock, BC Boys, Ice-T days, you know what I mean? The very beginning of hip-hop, Run DMC and stuff like that, you know what I mean?
You started right at the same time. A lot of the greats started, like, Mr. Mix, DJ Ready Red, you know what I'm saying, a lot of dope DJs at that time. What do you think is happened to the DJ all these years later? It's almost like, you know what I'm saying, the DJ has been written out of hip-hop, so to speak. You don't have those elements like you used to.
Yeah, fact, man. I mean, sometimes they sleep on the DJ, but, we the machine. I mean, we dropping the tracks and cutting and, saying the rapper's name, you know what I mean, and how Jam Master Jay used to get down with dope samples. I mean, the whole nine. It's just a lot of artists want to get away from that. You know what I mean? They don't want to showcase the DJ. You know how the business is. They just want to get their money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
They want to cut out as many middlemen as possible. But
exactly.
Brother, you can't think of Run DMC without thinking of Jam Master Jay. You can't think of Two Live Crew without thinking of Mr. Mix or Ghetto Boy, early Ghetto Boys without thinking of DJ Ready Red.
Exactly.
Now Richmond, when did hip-hop start to come on the scene in Richmond, and was the early styles of the Richmond hip-hop similar to New York, or did it already have a West Coast sound?
Yeah, we had our West Coast flavor, you know what I'm saying, with the Calvin T's and the Spice Ones and the, you know what I mean, we always try to be different, you know what I mean, the E40s. We had our own little swag out here in Cali. I pay homage to, New York, with the groundbreaking of hip-hop, you know what I mean? But at the same time, when they seen California doing it, they thought it was, weird. But, we showed them that we just as dope as them.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
No Limit Records, one of the biggest record companies of all times, 700-something million sold. I mean, just crazy amounts of records sold throughout the world. You were part of the beginning stages of No Limit Records. How did you meet Master P, and, what were your first impressions of him?
Yeah, I mean, I got introduced to Master P from one of my HCP members, my Hilltop Posse, my homeboy DJ Saint or whatever, and he went to P's store right there on San Pablo, and his confidence wasn't as high. He was a hell of a baller and a football player, but, I mean, he just suggested that I go down there because I have a little more, talent with my little turntablism, and I went down there and it just clicked right away, you know what I mean? So my impression of him was, I was impressed to see a black man having a studio and a record store and a cash register, basically. You know what I mean? Because you didn't really see that coming up. We go to record stores, we go to Leopold's or different stores. It was always the white people selling the music, but you know, I was impressed by that. You know, and he has a little hustle about him, and his swag was a little different. You know, being from the South. You know what I mean? But I admired his hustle.
Yeah, he had the record store already when you met him?
Yeah, he already had the record store. Like I said, my partner took me down there, and we just clicked right away. You know what I mean? We started, you know, making moves, you know, doing interviews and recording. You know what I mean? I introduced him to K. Lou after we was kind of like tinkering around in a little studio that he created. But I had already, you know, been a little bit more advanced in the music, so I was like, this is cool, but, like, I know a guy with a real studio. And so that's when I introduced him to K. Lou, and we did that No Limit song, and then we did the What's the Deal There. The other two tracks, you know, Masterpiece Rolling and Why You Do What You Do was at a little house on the south side of Richmond. And so that's when it started clicking. And, you know, we eventually, you know, distributed that tape. You know, he was kind of like putting the tape together, you know, taking a picture of the insert. You know, he'll just put the little graphics down and all the little font, and then he'll take a picture of it and put it in his little jewel case, you know, dub up a bunch of CDs, a bunch of tapes, you know, and distribute them, you know. So that was a cool movement because, I mean, with my HCP crew, we weren't really moving like that. So it was like, you know, I was really inspired by that, you know what I mean? So we did that.
I was going to say,
and, you know,
some guy come from New Orleans to Richmond.
Right.
He kind of brought some game with him then, huh?
Yeah, most definitely. He brought that hustle game with him. I mean, we had talked about it, but he was more being about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I will give him that. Even though the quality wasn't all that, but it was like, at least we had a product to show that we was trying to do something.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Well, at what point in time did you guys first start recording?
At one point in time, I mean, right there in '89, I mean, when I met him, it was like days later. You know what I mean? We started recording, and I see that it was kind of janky. So that's when I said, you know what? K. Lou lived in my hood. We grew up in Hilltop, and we went over there, and then it really started bubbling, you know what I mean? As far as the quality wasn't there, like I said, the swag was different, you know what I mean? We was more the Dr. Dre's and, you know, the producers, you know what I mean? Even Paris and some of the, you know, producers in the Bay Area, JT, you know, the Mac Dre's and all of them, you know what I mean? We was like, we wanted our shit to be dope, you know what I mean? So, you know, I was just happy to kind of be
with those
a
guys
part of
at the time, yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. You know, but I just wanted to, I was just happy to be kind of moving with it, you know what I mean? At least we had some product out there. You know, but then when we got to K. Lou's and we assembled a little CRU clique, it started rolling a lot better, you know what I mean? But I don't know, yeah, it's just...
You wasn't feeling the music. Who was doing the main production at that time?
K. Lou was. You know, I was coming up with different break beats and samples, you know what I mean? Kind of based off of whatever the subject matter.
Not to cut you off, but you and K. Lou were kind of like the Dr. Dre and DJ Yella of the No Limit.
Exactly.
At the time.
Exactly. If it would have been our direction all the way, you know what I mean? But Master P was kind of, it was his vision, you know what I mean? So, but I was helping fund it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And I was trying to be a general in the No Limit crew. I didn't just want to be a soldier, you know what I mean? So I was making it happen by any means necessary, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, when did TRU start to form, and who were the original members?
It started in like 90, and the members was myself, you know, Grandmaster Scratch, and it was Master P, Big O. My homeboy Chili D was a HDP member, and then King George, Magic Mark, and Chill. Those are the original members.
Okay, so you sent me these pictures, and I'm looking at there's a bunch of guys dressed like the Untouchables, got guns and everything. That's you
Right.
guys. What was this picture for?
That was going to be the original cover, but
Okay.
Master P, he had a record store, so he'd go get some of his music. All the people with record stores would go to Jason Blaine at the music people to get their records or whatever. So he kind of helped us distribute that product. You know what I mean? I guess he kind of didn't think that, he thought that cover was a little bit too racy. So that I was expecting to see it, but it just ended up being a black and white cover or whatever. But that was supposed to be the original cover.
Yeah, I always wondered why it was the
Untouchable
black and white cover, just lettering. You know what I'm saying? Why they never had a better graphics at the time, or a concept for the cover.
Right.
Why they thought it was too, too hardcore at the time? Is that what you said?
I think so. Yeah, they thought it was too hardcore. Yeah, you know what I mean? But we was like trying to be like NWA. I mean, you look at some of the NWA covers, they sit in a circle, they're looking down. They don't really got the guns or whatever, but, it is what it is, you know what I mean? But I thought it was a dope cover, but a lot of people never seen that, But that was all about the company type of shit. They didn't want to, control things or whatever.
Yeah, I never seen those images either. And the dope thing about it is, this stuff is coming out now. They're doing this No Limit Chronicles. Did they get at you at all to try to get your story?
Not really. I mean, like my son is an artist or whatever, and he be recording at K-Lou, so I had to kind of remind K-Lou, because I was anticipating blah, 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 with this stuff coming out, just to refresh his mind, because when people get in the mix, you know what I mean, they forget where they came from or whatever. So, you know what I mean, it is what it is. But, I mean, I appreciate him kind of giving a plug. But I think Master P really was going to feel kind of guilty not including me anyway. Because, I mean, we was kind of like buddies, you know what I mean, riding around trying to do this music shit. And I got my little mini truck, and I'm the one that's driving them to all the spots. We going to, do shows and interviews. We went to the CMC music channel. We did like a little video when Sonya was a rapper along with his sister, Jeremy, I think her name is. They had like a little group a lot of people don't know about, but I DJed for them. Then we did a little spot at the Soul Beat, you know what I mean? And we did shows at the Oakland Army Base. We did interviews at KPOO. We was out there campaigning, right? Driving around in San Francisco, knocking on the record executive doors, trying to get in there. You know what I mean? Like I said, I was trying to be a general at No Limit, not like a soldier, so.
You guys were helping putting in that work.
Yeah, most definitely.
Well, you did a show in Oakland. I remember seeing in the No Limit Chronicles, it got pretty crazy. Was that the one that you guys had to get out of there real quick?
No, that was after. This was just when we was doing What's the Deal. This was in '89.
This was just in '89.
None of them cats was around, man, when the first TRU got formed. They tried to claim TRU, but Silk Shocker, C Murder, none of them was there. You know what I mean? Master P went back and got them. But the Untouchables, all the cats that I named, we was the ones that was seated in pee and lacing up his shoes, like, and giving them this Bay Area game. You know what I mean? Like, and then he kind of dumped on us or whatever. But I mean, we the ones that was there in the beginning.
Yeah. And everybody's story needs to be told, you know what I'm saying? So you were there right when it started. At what point in time did you leave No Limit, and why did you leave?
Well, what happened was when we got ready to sign the contract with the No Limit crew, we already had the uniforms and the product done. And, like I tell everybody, Donald Passman, I think that's his name, he wrote that, everything you need to know about the music industry. You got to do that kind of stuff first. You got to sign the contract and then start recording. Because people get that bravado. So basically it all came to an end because people got too cocky. You know what I mean? And so it all came tumbling down when we got ready to sign those contracts. I mean, those contracts probably wasn't the greatest contracts, but we could have just, took them to our lawyers, and what I mean? And we could have went farther if we just took it more professional, especially with some of the clique I brought into it, because I had put a lot of time and energy into it. And I was just going to learn as I go. You know what I mean? That's how the music industry is, you know what I mean? But, it just came to a crushing end when it went all bad with the contracts.
Just wasn't what you were feeling, obviously.
Me and P was the generals.
You got along good, right?
Yeah, me and P was like the generals, and it was just the Untouchable crew. Yeah, some of them didn't feel right with the contracts. You know what I mean?
And you, this other picture you sent me, it's called Master P. What's the Deal? Is that him and you on the cover?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. Bull starter jacket. So this is like 90. What tape was that? What's the deal?
That was, like I said, that was the EP. That was the first. That was the very first EP as Master P.
That was
as a
before
solo
Mind
artist.
of a Psychopath, then.
Exactly. Yep. That was the very first tape. It was just Master P and Grandmaster Scratch at that point.
And did K-Lou do the production on that one, or was that one done by somebody else?
Yeah, he did the No Limit, and then he did the What's the Deal, and the other two tracks we did at this spot in Richmond with a little bit of equipment that P had at the time. Yeah, it was real janky. So when we got to K-Lou's, he was out of his mother's garage, but it was like real impressive compared to what we was dealing with. And I had already knew that. That's why I suggested that we go over there, and that's where the connection with Master P and K-Lou came into. You know what I mean? So that was like a valuable connection right there. Like I said, we did the Untouchable tape there, and then after that, it went all bad. But, he kept, recording at K-Lou's, and, it was just a good connection.
Were you there for Getaway Clean?
No, I wasn't there. No, after that Untouchable project.
He dropped that after you left. Was anything that you did on that project?
Nope. I didn't do nothing on that project. Nope.
Oh.
We had like a little contract or whatever, and I was trying to be a part of the No Limit company, but I was so green to the game that I didn't know about the fictitious business names and this and that. He went to the University of Houston, so he was a little bit more sharper than us. So when we disassembled, he just kept using that Untouchable name and just kept riding with it because he owned the name.
Yeah. So he just kept working with K-Lou and stuff, and then as we know, the Getaway Clean, In a Minute Records. You know what I'm saying? Now In a Minute, that label at that time had Pooh Man, had RBL Posse, a lot of different artists in the Bay that were big already.
Right.
But P got in there early on as well. But were you with him on the road trip to when he went to L.A. to try to get a record deal off that Mind of a Psychopath?
No, I wasn't with him. I was in my own lane, but I was down with it. But it's like I had went to L.A. and I seen the tracks in the Slauson swap meet, and I was impressed. And then I seen him, teasing my Uzi. But I heard about that story how him and King went out there. But King, he came a little bit later. Like I said, he was on Mind of a Psychopath. He did I'm Dealing Keys, but in the very, very beginning, he wasn't really around. You know what I mean? He came a little bit later, but I knew Master P and him had some history because they were from Calio, you know what I mean? So I don't know if it's just a coincidence that both of them moved to the Bay Area, but yeah, but I didn't know about that story. I mean, nah, because I'll be, I was in the mix working, blah, 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 so I would be at my regular job, which I still hold to this day, to tell you the truth, and I would be at work, and then I come home, and I put my scratches on the track or whatever. So everything was moving fast, so I wouldn't be there for every little detail. You know what I mean? So that's what it was kind of like. I wasn't around them cats as much as I kind of like had a little cool job. So I'm thinking about this hip hop shit, but I'm thinking at the same time, you know what I mean, like security type of shit. Master P, he was like a gypsy, you know what I mean? He lived in the back of his store, you know what I mean? Just cut off a different cloth. I'm just trying to, I didn't even have a family at the time. But I'm still just trying to eat, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
He was definitely pinching pennies. He seen something that a lot of people didn't see. Did you know he was going to make it to the level that he made it?
Yep. Even with that, like I said, my little job,
yeah.
I knew it. I knew he wasn't never going to stop. And it inspired me because I'm still DJing to this day. We got our little music art movement where we showcase artists. We had a couple of gigs last year until the COVID kicked in. But, every time seeing him, subliminally, it's lifting my spirits. But, I didn't agree with a lot of shit that he did, you know what I mean? But the success part, I never thought he would take it that far. You know what I mean? But he did put me in that Vibe magazine under his family tree, and it was much love that he finally, recognized me on the Chronicles or whatever. But I know I was there since day one. You know what I mean?
Did he mention you in the Chronicle?
Yeah. He didn't mention my name, but he just showed 6 pictures of me.
Oh, okay.
So that was good enough.
Yeah, too bad he didn't mention your name, but at least you were in there. He mentioned you in Vibe, though?
Yep, and even on the ones that you see on the Chronicles are the ones from the Master P What's the Deal tape. The pictures of just me and him, that was from a photo shoot. It was just, we was trying to figure out what picture we wanted for the cover of the tape.
Wow.
Then it goes into the Untouchables.
And you had these pictures that you sent me. You had these all these years.
Word. Yep.
Wow, that's amazing. That's dope history right there. I appreciate you getting in touch with me, though, because we just had MC Big O on last week. We were chopping it up with him, and he was talking about the early days as well. Yeah, he was one of the original members too. Man, that's history right there. Did you ever run into Master P after the time you knew him in Richmond?
Nah, a little while after we broke up, I was cruising through Berkeley, and I seen him and King George, and they was in their little car or whatever, and I'm in my little mini truck, and I could have hollered at them then, but once we disassembled, I went just back to my HTP crew, and we tried to make it happen, but in the midst of me messing with Master P, it was kind of like Ice Cube when he was in, with Sir Jinx and them or whatever, and then he got with Dre. It was like, I don't want to just leave my crew type of thing, you know what I mean? So we just kind of, went back in the studio and tried to make it happen, blah, 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 but it wasn't the same because that's why I say the thing I admire about Master P is how his movement, you know what I mean? Even though it wasn't the greatest quality, but just he was just really efficient, you know what I mean? I like that. I never really seen a person move like that outside of him.
Yeah.
That's
the
real
one,
talk. That's just real talk.
That's the one thing I always hear. His hustling abilities is just impeccable. And it is because how do you walk into a established record company like Priority and just get an 85 or 80-20 deal? You know what I mean? It's like you gotta have some serious business skills to do that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, definitely. And plus a visionary.
Most definitely.
He made a lot of moves,
definitely.
like bringing Snoop over. That was monstrous at the time.
That was monumental. Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
He's smart. He's smart. He's smart. He's making a lot of moves, even with his Miatis and his product now. I mean, every time somebody says something about it, I'll be like, they might want to diss it, but like, once again, he got product and you don't. So I'm not mad at him.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at all.
Yeah. Well, that's good though, man. That's hopefully someday, if they do something down the line like a movie or something, they'll get some input from you. I don't know why, whenever companies do these documentaries and stuff, you would think they would go and do their homework. You know what I mean? And have people like yourself included, But I got the homie Sin from France. He wants to ask you a question or two real quick. Sin, are you there, brother?
Yes, sir. Hi, Scott. Hi, TJ Grandmaster Scratch.
Hey, how you doing? Is this Sin Dog from Cyprus?
Yeah.
Oh, word. What's up, boy?
Yeah, I'm fine. Can you tell us about the earlier rappers, like in the No Limit Days era, like Kelly G, Marcus Bonk, you got Daniel Fry or Fonzo, Sonia C. Can you tell us about this era back in the day?
Some of the early No Limit roster. Who were they, and can you tell us about them?
Oh, right. No, I really can't tell you because early on it was just us. You know what I mean? After the first No Limit, after the first Untouchables got disassembled, then it wasn't even like maybe 2 or 3 months later, it would be a new poster up on the poles saying, get away clean or whatever, the new Untouchables. You understand what I'm saying? So
no.
I didn't follow after that. I went my own lane and I became a family man and bought a house and I've been here, you know what I mean? So I didn't really do it, but I still DJ. But I really kind of shied away from the music business after that. You know what I'm saying? Because I kind of sacrificed my family, my music for my family, basically. I chose my family over my music.
I can't knock you at all for that. How long were you down with? How long were you down with No Limit before you left? Like from the time you met Master P to the time you stepped away, how long was that?
It was like a 3-year period. And like I said, in the beginning, it was a friendship / business, riding around, going to get food, dreaming about doing what he did. You understand? It was like that. But like he would always say, me and Ronaldo, we going to Hollywood. He would always have big dreams, and I had those dreams too. You know what I mean? But I just kind of like took another lane, but I'm still in it. You know what I mean? But it's just, I never missed a soccer game or a basketball game or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is at this point. You know what I mean? But
hey, I salute you for that, from one father to another, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. You know what I mean?
Word. That's what it's all about.
Being there for your kids, and sometimes we have to make sacrifices, And plus, in all fairness and honesty to you too as well, even though you knew P was going places, surely you had no idea it was going to be 750 million units.
No.
Maybe a gold or platinum plaque, but
exactly.
He just went above and beyond anybody's expectation.
No,
he did. Priority.
He did. And I knew he was going to do it. I mean, it was 8 years into it, and then I seen it coming to fruition. But that's how long it takes sometimes. I mean, you might be dabbling with it, but like if you look at the history, it'd be like 6, 7 years, 8 years later, boom. You know what I mean? But you put in major work. You put in major work. You know, never having a regular job. Master P never had a regular job. You know, he just had that cash register at Low Limit Store. That's what I was so impressed about. Yeah, I never seen him working at, you know what I mean, Walmart or whatever. You know what I mean, Costco. You know what I mean? He always had that ambition.
Hustling the music, and he had that vision, that dream.
Yeah, he did.
What about King George? When did you meet him, and what were your first impressions of King George?
King George was cool. I like King George. He got a good spirit, you know what I mean? He got good energy. He came in, you know, he did that I'm Dealing Keys, I'm Scratching Damn They Ruthless from Ice Cube in the background through the whole song. It's like a little interlude. But I just like his swag. I mean, he got a cool little voice. But I used to run into King, you know, years later, push my mixtapes, and I was like, I see him trying to get his little hustle. I'm like, damn, why P didn't come get you or whatever like that? Like, and I never really understood that, but I don't know. I used to see him out there a little bit like that. Like, but I like King George, man. He a good dude. You know what I mean?
Did
King
Pete
George
bring him in,
like
from New Orleans? He just had him come up there?
I don't know. Like I said, I think they just kind of just landed on the same part of the map, just coincidentally, how people migrate from the South to, you know, the Bay Area. Richmond is like a company town, more jobs. My grandparents did that. My wife's grandparents did the same thing. They happen to know each other. So, I don't know. I think it was one of those coincidences because, like I said, he wasn't around when we was doing the whole No Limit tape. We was just out there trying to push it. And it was just, I never seen King George. And then it was just like kind of organically happening with my ACP crew member feeling left out. When I took up with P, I just told him be patient because I know he's going to create the Untouchable group. And the same thing, I guess he was telling King George. And then after we finished our little tapes, that we got together and we formed the Untouchables and shit. And then I brought my homeboy Chili D. He brought King George, and you know Big O came, Magic Marcus, Big O's cousin, and Chills, like a radio announcer from KPOO, and it just all kind of came together. We had like a little crew, all hanging out in No Limit record store. You know what I mean? But Silk is all C Murder, none of them dudes was around. I didn't really meet them cats. You know what I mean? And so
I think he brought them down after his brother Kevin was killed. He didn't want them to meet the same fate.
Yeah, he wanted to turn them into rappers or whatever. Which ain't nothing wrong with that, you know what I mean? He wanted to turn them into rappers, but I don't think their aspirations was that. But, I mean, they got in where they fit in, but, like, I didn't really know about them cats. King George seemed like he wanted to be a rapper, but I think Master P kind of coached his brothers into doing it. You know, they had a good career or whatever, you know what I mean? Little ups and downs or whatever, how the music business is, you know what I mean? A lot of demons and shit, you know what I mean? But it is what it is.
Yeah. C-Murder was around. C-Murder was around on the No Limit earlier days. Did you meet him, and how it was to be with him back day?
I'm sorry.
I think C-Murder came after you left, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he did.
Like a Life in the Fast Lane. Remember that?
Yeah. That was after me. That was after us. Yeah. I know a lot of people, you know, big fans of that music, but I don't know. Me being Bay, I didn't really bump a lot of that stuff, so I don't really, you know, even know some of the names of the songs, to tell you the truth. But I'm familiar with the West Coast Bad Boys, this and that. But I was kind of like in a state of, you know, it was like a surreal moment having all that stuff in like that. So I just kind of like just broke away. You know what I mean? I just broke away from No Limit, but I knew Pete wasn't gonna stop. And then people I worked with was always jocking him. You know what I mean? So I knew he was gonna do his thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he had definitely an eye for talent as well.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, so you were down with them just for a couple of years. But you got to see the beginning of it, everything evolve. What were some of your takeaways from Pete? Did you learn anything from him over the time you spent with him?
Yeah, man, I learned, how to be more business-like, working with contracts and just, being vigilant and, just being professional. You know what I mean? Just, even with my ACT, I never, come late to gigs or, never showed up to a gig or whatever like that. Like, this is work ethic, you know what I mean? Well, we both had the same work ethics. That's why if it would have been a little bit more, patient and maybe, when you got a group of people, it's just the order that you take care of business. Like I said, if we did all the business in the beginning and then recorded, it would have been different. But when you record and do everything first and you don't do the business, then it gets shaky. You know what I mean? So you got to let everybody know what page they're on in the beginning, so then at the end they don't have nothing to say. You know what I mean? We already let you know what to expect. You know what I mean? So that's the order that we should have took. You know what I mean? But you just learned that we was 21. We was like 20 and 21 years old. We didn't really know.
No, yeah. It was, something that you just rolled the dice at the time.
Yeah.
But the MC Big O said that Master P modeled No Limit after Eazy-E and Ruthless. Was that his influences? Yep. That's what I didn't agree a lot with also. Just like Mind of a Psychopath, I think the Ghetto Boys had Mind of a Lunatic or something like that. It's like, you can't keep biting off people's stuff. Like, we from the Bay, we don't want to, you got to be original, like, you know what I mean? So, it was kind of, you paying homage. Every artist really takes a piece of everybody, from Jimi Hendrix to Prince, and it just goes on and on. But you got to do it more camouflage, whatever. You know what I mean? People do it to this day. You know what I mean? It's like that Migos joint with that 50 Cent sample. That shit is dope. But you got to do it in a clever way. You know what I mean? Don't just bite the whole ideal. You know what I mean? So you got to do it more clever. Well, that's like Gangsta Nip came out with, that real horrorcore stuff, and then it spawned like a whole genre of music,
Right.
But at the time, I rap a lot. You heard him. That was the only, hard shit like that, though. Or
right,
like you said, Ghetto Boys, Mind of a Lunatic. I guess that was Master P's way of doing a little bit of horrorcore at the time.
That's why I say nothing wrong with that. Everybody do it. You know what I mean? But it's just the way you do it.
Yeah, absolutely. You gotta, like you said, if you pay it homage or something, that's different. But you can't just take something and run with it any old way you want to, like they do nowadays, man. Like you said, man, that's why a lot of people are getting sued. You know what I'm saying, for samples and things, and people are starting to come out of the woodwork to say, "Hey, man, that's my shit." So
exactly,
we're starting to see it. Man, I want to thank you again, man, for coming on here. But before we get out of here, I want to find out what you got going on now, and then I want you to kind of intro this track that you sent me. But
okay,
what are you doing now, Dave?
Man, like I said, I'll be DJing, a little nationwide gig, and our Music movement where we showcase artists, and not only musical artists, but people that draw art. You know what I mean? So
dope.
That's that. Yeah, we got a little Instagram. It's called Muzart Showcase, MUZART. Showcase. So that's one of our little biggest babies right now. But we still trying to get it in. I got my studio and just DJing parties and just getting in where I fit in at.
Do you shout out to you for keeping it going, man. But do you have any of those early No Limit recordings?
Yeah, most definitely.
Like originals?
Yep.
Wow, that's something right there. That's something to go in a museum.
30 years later.
You know what I'm saying? A Hip Hop Hall of Fame or something like that.
Yeah. Most definitely. When people come in my house, they be tripping. They be like, he's famous, and I'm just a part of the first tape, and I ain't even rich, but, like, I just admire the hustle and being a part of the family, you know what I mean? Being a part of the No Limit family.
I was saying you're a tank dog regardless, because no matter how long you were down with the team, you were on those first Master P recordings doing your thing. You know, what would he tell you, man? Like, I need a scratch here or there, or would he just turn you loose and let you do whatever you wanted?
I don't know. I would kind of suggest things. Like, I'm one of them rappers, like, I mean, well, I like to compliment the main rapper with the ad-libs, then I kind of do that with my scratching. You know what I mean? So if it was the Mind of a Psychopath, it's like, you dumb motherfucker from Richard Pryor. The Mind of a Psychopath. You dumb motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I would try to suggest with his rapping, just to kind of like add my cadence in on top of his.
You?
Yeah. You know what I mean? That was like the style I was trying to create with him. You know what I mean? So, but he was a good writer or whatever.
Man.
Yeah.
Those were dope scratches. To be honest with you, some of that early No Limit stuff before Master P really came into his own, I like the beats. You know what I'm saying? I like the cutting, the scratching, the different samples. And that's what makes those early records dope. You know.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? The musical.
We just didn't have that bottom, like that good bass. You know, that warm sound. You know what I mean? To make it like more full. You know, it was kind of hollow at the time, but we would eventually evolve to that. But I totally agree. You know, that's real hip hop right there.
Yeah, it is. It is, man. You know, and hopefully those listening can go back and check out all that stuff. We're going to let you guys check out. You gave me like a mix with what is it? This is the original EP.
Yeah, it started off like I said with No Limit. Then it go into What's the Deal? That's the original What's the Deal EP. Those two tracks, and then it goes into, you know, the Untouchables' very first project.
So these first two tracks, were these were these versions ever released?
I mean, just on the streets, it was out the trunk stuff. You know what I mean? It wasn't polished, but people was impressed with it because I thought it was genius that Master P would take a picture of a picture and then, you know, get the graphics and set it on the side, the font, and then bend the cover and put it in the jewel case. Because we didn't have these computers and printers like we got now, or, you know, mailbox, et cetera, or whatever you're going to go.
Crafty with the scissors and paste, man.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that was dope. I mean, seriously. I thought that was like, I wasn't ashamed of the shit. I mean, it was tacky a little bit, but it was better than nothing. You know what I mean? Because we couldn't afford it.
Hey, you know, it got the point across, and you know, eventually it went from that to, you know what I'm saying, #1 Billboard records and, you know, platinum plaques. And so it started. That's what we're talking about now, folks. This is the foundation. You know what I'm saying? The very beginning. You can't have a building without the foundation. It's impossible.
Exactly. That's the brick and mortar. That's the humble beginning.
Brick and mortar, man. That's you know, again, man. Where would they be if it wasn't, you know, if certain people like yourself weren't in the mix? You know what I'm saying? Everything has to click and align at the right time. And
it's like, it's like molding a basketball player, or Jordan or Kobe. It's like it takes a village. I mean, you got all these different coaches, and you're not doing all this stuff by yourself. I mean, you're learning as you go. You know what I mean? Everybody giving you a little bit of game.
Were you the first, you know what I'm saying, act signed with No Limit? Or the first artist or first member of Tru? Or who was the first one along with P?
Well, I was actually the first one when he got to Cali. I met him at his store. You know what I mean? We made the What's the Deal tape, starting off with the No Limit track. and then What's the Deal, which is the title track. And then, like I said, I introduced him to K-Lou. We did those tracks with K-Lou's. And the other two tracks, he kind of came to Cali with that Masterpiece Rolling. This is all on the What's the Deal project. And then he had this other song, like a slow joint called Why You Do What You Do. So, I mean, I was officially one of the first members of No Limit when P got to Cali. You know what I mean? When my homeboy introduced me to him. And, you know, we went into this venture dreaming to be like Eric B. and Rakim and all the greats. You understand? So when the Untouchables was actually being formed, we came to a conclusion he needed more money. So that's when I invested some money and I got a contract. And we both signed it. You know, I was kind of green to the game, but, you know, I didn't know about having a witness and taking it to a lawyer. But, you know, I mean, I still got that paperwork to this day with the No Limit stamp on it. That's why I always say I was trying to be a general and trying to be 50-50 in No Limit Records. You know what I'm saying? Like, understanding the value of being an executive in a company and not just a, industry cat. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
So you initially invested in No Limit.
Exactly. And it was after the What's the Deal and the real first project for TRU, that's where the money was going toward, you know. And the contract states that we're going to recoup the money and keep investing it like you do when you're trying to build a business. You know, you want to get the ball rolling, so you create the tapes. Jason Blaine helped distribute them. You know, I went to the swap meet in L.A. It was out there. You know what I mean? Like my homeboy Big O said, it was sorting around in all the little record stores, Cheese and Uzi, and Jones and Harris, and all the little Bay Area. But when I went to L.A. before King George and them so-called took this trip, because, I mean, I had a little bit more money because I was already working, you know what I mean, at a good job. You know, they were still kind of struggling with it. I have been back and forth to L.A. a few times. We was all kids at that point, but I had, you know, when I graduated, I was going back and forth to L.A. So I was already in that circuit, you know what I mean, going to, you know, I met DJ Young at Venice Beach and the whole wrecking crew, you know what I mean? So I was already deep in it, you know what I'm saying? So when Pete came, you know, he had those dreams, and I was already kind of experiencing it because I've been DJing since I was 12 years old. You understand what I'm saying? So I was there in the very beginning when all the real DJs started as far as Cash Money, not Cash Money Records, but DJ Cash Money from New York, you know what I mean, Grandmaster Flash and Jam Master J, you know what I'm saying?
DXT, Mr. Mix, Ready Red.
Yeah.
You're part of that culture. You're part of that, the art of scratching and cutting. And, you know, that is missed right now in hip-hop, man.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That's definitely needed. You know, but, I'm looking at these pictures of you and Master P, man. You guys looked, you know, almost like that, you know, Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince type thing, like the Rob Bass and Easy Rock or Eric B. and Rakim, like the DJ and the rapper. That's how these pictures look. Was that how it was set up? Like, was it going to be like a Master P and DJ Grandmaster scratch type thing at first?
Exactly. That's where it was headed. That's what we were striving for. You know what I mean? And that's why it was so organic how it started, me being with another crew, similar to Ice Cube having Sir Jinx and a little, you know, CIA crew. I forget the name of them, but, you know, before they merged with Ruthless, you know what I mean? It was like, I didn't want, CIA, I didn't want to leave my little HTC crew. There you go. You know what I mean? So that's why I brought my homeboy Chili D in it, because I was still holding on to my roots of HTP. And when you hear No Limit, he's shouting us out at the end, talking about Richmond, HTP, and K-Lou, because I wanted to get those credits. You understand what I'm saying? Because I already knew how powerful that was. I wasn't just jumping on No Limit right away, but when I made that investment, hell yeah, I was trying to be definitely part of No Limit because I could see where it was going as far as his ambition. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, it was more of a serious business than us growing up, loving Run DMC and growing up with all the music. But when I met P, I had a feeling that he was going to take it to where he took it, regardless of how it started out. Like I said, we had product to show. A lot of people didn't have that in the hood, and it was like Too Short selling CDs in the open and going to Royal Park and catering to all the D-boys out there with his music. It was the same movement. So that's why, regardless of how it looked, I was with it. You know what I mean? I was definitely with it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It looked like you guys were going for that type of vibe right there.
Yeah.
So the music starts getting made. You know what I'm saying? You had the connections. You know what I'm saying? You weren't green to this. You already were establishing yourself as a DJ in the music scene there. Now, Chili, that's Chili Powder, right?
Nah, Chili D. See, Chili Powder came afterwards. This was at the very beginning, the first TRU. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like I say, Chili D and P, they used to kind of clash, and I would have took it farther maybe if I hadn't brought him into the group, but he was my member. I grew up with him, so at the end of the day, I never had no regrets with that. But, like, all the beef my homeboy Chili D had was real talk because we was cut off a different cloth. You know, like, if he said, I got funk, what do I do? Get on the telly and call up my crew. He'd be like, what is funk? You know, he'd always want to have writing credits and try to change our words, but we was like, we from the Bay. So we spoke, the language that we spoke, you know what I mean? Just like E40, with his language, you know what I mean? We had our own style. So, he wanted to try to change that, and my homeboy didn't want it. And I didn't really want it either because we was more trying to be like the greats, you know what I mean? So he just didn't really understand that language at the time.
So he was trying to take it somewhere else, and you guys kind of didn't understand where he was coming from, him being from the South. That had to have been like pretty awkward at first. You know what I'm saying? This dude comes in from out of town, and within a couple of years, he's just taken over the hip hop game.
Yeah, word.
Did you see that happening though? Did you see? I mean, you knew he had the hustler's ambition, but did you know he was going to take it that far?
To tell you the truth, I knew he was because he never had a regular job. You know what I mean? So he always was a hustler. You know what I mean? Like I'm in the workforce. Like I was doing my little job, so I'm thinking I made it at that point. But I'm still trying to embrace this hip hop shit. But I'm like, at the time, not thinking he's gonna take it that far. But at the same time, I knew his hunger was so strong that he was gonna do something. I always use that timeline as a structure because it's like from like a 6 to 7, 8 year period of you grinding, and being really passionate about your craft, you're going to end up seeing something happen. You know what I mean? It's persistence. And that's what he had. He had that persistence.
He had the longevity.
I knew he had it. And people I was working with started, talking about him, and I'm like, I knew he wasn't never going to stop, you know what I mean? But, like, I chose another lane. I'm still in it, but, just like a lot of interviews I'm hearing, a lot of people like to sensationalize these stories and stuff like that. Like, the TRU picture. I mean, I chose that spot. You know what I mean? Because I'm from Hilltop. Like King George was saying, they got these different valleys, but like I'm the one that scoped that spot out because they build a mall and then they build the outskirts of a mall, but they did the excavation, but the buildings weren't actually set. So I've seen some of these spots where I knew we could dip in there and take those pictures. You know what I mean? But, it's been 30 years, you know what I mean? So a lot of people, they like to, glamorize a lot of stuff. But I'm just trying to let the truth be known, the real truth, you know what I mean? Like, some of the Richmond getting laced up, when he came out with that song, Lay Low or whatever, I was really shocked he was on that track. But he was like shouting out Richmond. And I'm a mixtape DJ, so I made a little comment on there saying, he came to Richmond and we laced his shoes up, then he took off, you know what I mean? And it's real talk because, I mean, when you get baptized with the Richmond vibe and our whole little hip-hop culture, it does something to you. That the timing got to do with everything. If he hadn't came to Richmond and me not hooking him up with K-Lou, you never know how his career would have took off. It would have been you looking for, a dope studio to go to. So it would have been it might have been years before you found that. Because K-Lou wasn't even really into hip-hop. You know, they did the N2 Deep joint, but he was more like a cameo R&B type of cat. You understand what I'm saying? So he had the skills, and that's what made his music dope. He played instruments, and he knew his instrumentation, and he knew how to do it, be an audio engineer. You know what I mean? So obviously, after we got disassembled, they still kept going to K-Lou, so that just lets you know it was a good spot to be at.
Were you around for the Into Deep beef or whatever that they had?
As far as who?
Didn't P and Master P and Into Deep have a beef or something at one time, or I might be mistaken?
Not sure. No, I'm not sure. Maybe I wouldn't doubt it, but
how long total though were you working with P? From the time he touched down to the time you decided to leave?
You said how long did I work with him?
Yeah.
We worked together as far as probably 3 years, 2.5 years, from 89 to 90, almost leading into 92. You know,
okay.
I mean, started off.
So you were there for the first couple projects then?
Exactly. The very first project. On the cover is me and him. What's the deal? King George ain't there. Silk Shocker ain't there. None of them cats. Big O, nobody. It was just me and Pete. And then,
Silk was
everybody.
Kid, and I don't think he called for C Murder at that time yet. But eventually, the tragedy struck. You know, Kevin got killed. Man, that had to have been horrible to see your brother and your friend go through that.
Oh yeah, most definitely. That was tragic. You know, especially being so young, you know what I mean, and having a lot of weight on his back, trying to take care of little Romeo and Sonia and the whole family, you know what I mean? Like, I admire him for, you know, going through that kind of stuff, living in the back of the store and everything like you see on the No Limit Chronicles. Cause, it would be like I went to his house, we did a show, and the next day I would go there, and he would just be moved out. You understand what I'm saying? Like, when he had that type of drive and, you know, that gypsy type of lifestyle where he could just do that, you know, to just save money and put it into his music. You know what I mean? A lot of people not cut off that cloth. You know what I mean?
That's sacrifice.
Yeah, that's definitely sacrifice, you know. So
that's one of the things you got to respect about the guy.
Exactly.
That's kind of like Stallone. When Stallone was making Rocky, he sold his dog.
Exactly.
He couldn't even afford to feed the dog. So
and
a year later, he's at the Oscars. So
you got to admire a guy like that. I mean, everybody not cut off that cloth. You know.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. And you know, now at the No Limit Chronicles, I imagine that's just the beginning. I see a lot of stuff happening. Like they're getting ready to make another an Easy E project. You know what I'm saying? And Straight Outta Compton came out 5 years ago, so you know they're going to keep doing more No Limit stuff. Has anybody approached you to get your story?
Nah, not yet. You know, I hope they do. You know what I mean? 'Cause I think I'm a valuable part of the story. You know what I mean? That's why I'm like,
yeah, absolutely.
I never thought of
I'm honored
Dip
to
Key or
interview
them like
you, man.
that.
Real talk.
Yeah, I'm just happy that he made it to that success. I mean, to tell you the truth, I mean, I mirror his energy, you know, just the way I carry myself and being successful in my DJ career and still being in this music. It ain't like I'm not a part of it. You know, my kids is, you know, they bloggers, they into videotaping, and my son's DJ and rap, you know what I mean? So it's like I never let it go, and I'm never going to stop doing music, you know what I mean? And he's part of the reason for that, you know what I'm saying? He is part of the reason for that. And all the people that doubted him, I never really had conversations about it because me and Chili D kind of like fell out over this shit because it was like I wanted to keep rolling, but I went with my original crew members, you know, when we got disassembled. But I never had to say I told you so because all you got to do is turn on the TV. You know what I mean? Like, it's right there in your face. So what more can you say? But I don't have
in the form of rap snacks, rap noodles. I mean, the guy's a marketing genius. You know, yeah. I mean, there's just well, he has the ability to reinvent himself over the years. You know,
no, most definitely.
Not a lot of people do that. Plus, no one's really came in and took the game by storm like him. I mean, Easy did what he did. Luke did what he did. Jay Prince did what he did. But P was just a whole nother level.
Yeah, he was.
And if you look at the early In a Minute stuff, you know, and before that, what he did with you could see, okay, there's going to be a lot of projects coming. Like he's setting up the TRU. I imagine you were going to do probably mixtapes or something, have your own stuff. Were there plans for stuff like that?
Yeah, it was until, you know, the drama hit. You know what I mean? That's why I tell a lot of people, you know, when you're doing the music, you know, you got to get the contracts and the paperwork straight first because, you know, once you get the uniform, you got the music, and then you try to handle the business. That's what happened to us. You know, you read Donald Passman's book, you know, all you need to know about the music business. He said, before you even get a piece of equipment, read this book because you got to think about it. They call it the music business for a reason. It's 90% business and 10% music and studio. You know what I mean? So that was one of our mistakes, not taking care of the business in the beginning so everybody could be clear of where they were. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's what kind of broke us up when we got ready to sign the contract. But it wasn't like I had signed a contract because BNP had already had a deal, and all the Untouchables, they didn't feel comfortable with it, so that's when everything started breaking apart. But if it would have been more of a professional level, we wasn't so young, this would have been like, I'm going to take this to my lawyer, let him look it over. You understand what I'm saying? Instead of just talking shit and then everything gets disassembled.
And that happens so much in hip hop because and you know, you're right, man. A lot of guys, they get into like Ice Cube when he was in an NWA, he was 17. You know, LL Cool J signed to Def Jam at 14. So when you're this young, people still don't know what the hell's going on. You know what I'm saying? I believe if things would have worked out, you know, Richmond would have been right there with the West Coast Bad Boys, and there could have been a No Limit branch continuously in the West Coast while he was running the stuff in New Orleans. You know, but you know, it is what it is. But you said, man, the talent goes on. You said your son is doing some DJing as well. He picked up on the ones and twos.
Yeah, he DJing. He called himself the Don Roddy. You know what I mean? You can check out his SoundCloud. But, yeah, he got it. You know what I mean? But once again, you know, with my history, you know what I mean, knowing P and all this and that, and he see the pictures and all this stuff, and the hip-hop he grew up around, he think doors are going to magically open up for him, and you got to grind at it. I mean, he didn't get there for no reason. I got a little cone in my studio. It says, you know, opportunity happens when success happens when you need opportunity or whatever it says. But it's like you gotta work at it basically. You know what I mean? It's not gonna just magically happen for you. You know, you gotta work at it. Talent is one thing,
and longevity. I mean, you know, you got to be in it for the long haul. You know.
Exactly.
But yeah, man, that's history right there. When you see this stuff, you know what I'm saying, on BET and whatnot, does that make you, you know what I'm saying, reminisce and think about them old days?
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. I was just happy that I got my little 15 minutes of fame because it's a good feeling when some of my homeboys, you know, I said we do these little shows, we got a little music movement, and they be like, man, what's up, OG? I got to see you on TV or whatever. You know, that's a good feeling. Even though they didn't mention my name, but obviously they put my picture in there with just me and P like maybe 4 or 5 times. So, you know, it's just a connection right there. Like I said, we started out as partners, it wasn't even about the money. You know, when the money comes in, it kind of messes things up. You know, that's what our goal is. At the same time, is just the way that you handle it. Like people that lust for money, you know, that's why they say that money is the root of all evil. You know, you don't want to help people and be a philanthropist and give money back once you get to that successful moment, because how good is it going to feel just for you to be on the top and not be able to share it with somebody? You know what I mean?
You gotta, yeah, man. I mean, there's people in, you know, the rap world that I helped further their career, and they get to a point where you can't reach them no more. You can't even talk to them. They forget.
Exactly.
They forget a lot of people along the way sometimes, and that
They
happens.
do.
P's one of them dudes, man. I can't get an interview with him for nothing, and I interviewed him in Murder Dog on the cover probably 6 or 7 times. You hear a drop at the beginning of the show. He gave me a drop for this show, like 2004, 2005. So, you know, they know you when they want to know you. You know, and that's just how the rap game is, man. The rap game is crazy. But I'll tell you what, I'm real happy we were able to put some words to that face that they've shown in No Limit Chronicles with our interviews, man. I got. Hey, man, it's an honor. I got a brother overseas. His name is DJ Laura Sinister. He wants to ask you a couple questions.
Okay, that's what's up.
Sin,
yes,
you there, brother?
Yes, sir. Hi, Scott. Hi, Grandmaster Scratch. Yes, can you tell us about the record store Master P created in Richmond? It was a store before Level. Tell us about this back in the day.
About meeting P in Richmond?
Yeah.
Is that what
just saying. I'm sorry. No,
the record store he created the record store in Richmond.
Yeah, I just met him in Richmond through one of my buddies that used to go to, you know, he see a new record store. We always looking for records, and he seen that Master P had opened up that No Limit record store, and he was telling them that he was a DJ, and P was like, I'm looking for a DJ. And then my partner, you know, he didn't really have the confidence, so he asked me to go down there, and that's how I met P. You know what I mean? And, when I went down there, I just felt the vibe from him, and we just like, it was days later that we started recording. You know what I mean? It was days later. I mean, it was just like an instant connection, because I had the same ambitions that he had, and seeing a young man with a record store and a cash register and, you know, a little bit of videos, and, you know what I mean? I really admired that, because he was getting his little hustle on. Like, he wasn't trying to work at UPS and, you know, have a regular job. You know what I mean? So I really admired that. Okay,
yes. And can you tell us about the deal of Master P with Infinite Records in Oakland in '91? How it was for him?
Intermittent Records. How did you guys get the deal?
Yes, sir.
Oh, the Intermittent? Yeah, that was a little bit. That was after me. You know what I mean? So I was just a part of the original Western deal and the first Untouchable group. And I think Intermittent had something to do with Jason Blaine, because he helped us out with the first project with Mind of a Psychopath and Life Ain't Nothing But Bitches and Money and this and that. All because Master P would, if you had a record store, you were allowed to the music people to get your supplies. So you would have to like get buzzed in, and I was impressed by that, because I didn't know nobody else with a record store. So when you go to Jason Blaine, you know, you hit the little button, buzz you in there. They got a whole bunch of 8x10 glossies by anybody you could think of that's from R&B artists to hip hop, and we got close to Jason. So he started seeing our music, and he was knowing that the rap was really popular. So he ended up distributing that tape for us, the very first Untouchable tape, all because of the connection of P having that record store. That was the only way he was able to get close to Jason. He probably would have never met him outside of having a record store. So that was a good feeling, too, to be back in the back of the store playing Mind of a Psychopath, and we had a couple little mixer parties, and they would have this little area kind of like with this paper around it where you couldn't really see it, but we met LL Cool J there, and Richie Rich was there, and we was signing our little 8x10 glossy, a little untouchable picture that you see on the No Limit Chronicles, and we felt like we was on our way. You know what I mean? With the quality
LL Cool J and Richie Rich, not to cut you off, but you said LL Cool J and Richie Rich was at Master P's record store signing autographs?
No, this was at this little mixer party that we had for Jason Blaine when he helped distribute our first.
Blaine. Okay, yeah, Intermittent Records. My bad.
Yeah, Intermittent Records. Yeah, so the Whispers was there. I mean, it was hella dope. I mean, we had our little No Limit hats on. You know, not many people knew who we were, but we looked like we was going somewhere. You know what I mean? So that was real dope.
Yeah. Did you remember the very first track he did, or some tracks he didn't release, unreleased tracks he did? Do you remember some of the tracks he did? The first track and even some unreleased tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have any unreleased No Limit stuff? And what was the first one?
Yeah.
Like I said, that would be in that would be in the What's the Deal category. All those tracks would be in What's the Deal. You know what I mean? It was an EP. It was 4 tracks. The first track was Master P's Rolling. Then he had a No Limit song, and then Why You Do What You Do was like a slow song, and then the last track was What's the Deal. And those are really tracks that people have never heard before. You know, I think he didn't really want to talk about them because they was rough tracks. You know what I mean? We was rushing things, and I'm like a perfectionist, so I wanted to have it, tighter. But at the same time, like I said, at least we had something to show. You know what I mean? But I was kind of tripping because I'm like, if I make one mistake, I'm going to try to go back and fix it, and he'd just be like, yeah, leave that shit like it is. But, I mean, he didn't really, it wasn't like he didn't care. He just had to do what he had to do with the studio time that we had, that little window of opportunity that we had for the studio, and the amount of money that we was working with, Yeah, so. But I would say over all the No Limit projects, the What's the Deal is the one that nobody never really heard, and the No Limit song is pretty dope because it's bass heavy and my scratching is cool, and then What's the Deal is kind of New York based. Why You Do What You Do is slow. They got a couple R&B singers on there harmonizing. It was creative, but you wouldn't even think P would be coming from that area. And then Master P's Rolling got Sonya on the hook, saying, Master P's Rolling on the MIC. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's pretty, it's decent for the time. You know what I mean? I grew up on Tito Rock and Mantronics, and they had bass heavy shit, like PSK, and some of the reverbs are turned up high, and you got the Ice Teas that came later, and the music started getting more polished, especially with the West Coast vibe. You know what I mean? Our shit was more like a cinematography. It was like a movie, and New York was a little bit more gritty. But when Dr. Dre and them came with the Chronic and some of the earlier stuff, even with the World Class Wrecking Crew, it was more techno, but it was clean. It was super clean, like Africa Bambaataa and, all that type of music, you know what I mean? It was really clean. So I would always strive for that sound. But that would have happened eventually once we would have kept fucking with K. Lou and, how Master P music ended up turning out for Beats by the Pound. New Orleans is more, more horns and, stuff like that, you know what I mean? But if we just say Bay Area, and just, K. Lou done produced tracks with Mac Dre. He got like a lot of hits, E40 and blah, blah, blah. So we was looking for that real polished sound, you know what I mean? But Master P really didn't know about that because he didn't grow up with all that kind of music, you know what I mean? He grew up on Too Short and Spice One. And all their tracks are super clean, you know what I mean? So that's what we always try to strive for.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you guys, did you helped lay the foundation, and I'm glad you're able to tell your story, and I hope you know what I'm saying, you get the opportunity again in the future. What about any music, man? Do you still do any cutting and scratching yourself?
Oh yeah, most definitely, the last gig I did was in December before the COVID kicked off. It was a corporate gig, you know what I mean? But we got our Muzart showcase where we showcase artists, and, you know. So I'm putting on the beats for all the artists, you know what I mean? So I'm still in it, you know what I mean? It's just a part of my soul or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? It's just something I'm never gonna stop doing. God willing, you know what I mean? But I'm still current, you know what I mean? Like, right now, I can DJ at party right now. I mean, you go to my little YouTube, you can see a couple ones that I did on Grandmaster Strike. But, you know, it's just because of COVID, you know what I mean? I ain't had no gigs. I've been DJing since I was 12 years old. And so I'm 52, so it's going to be, you know, I'm like 40 years into it. It'll probably be the first year I never DJ'd a party.
Wow.
I mean, that's how consistent I am. Yeah. All because of this COVID-19.
Yeah, this shit came out of nowhere, man. It's crazy. You
yeah,
know,
40 years.
You know, people didn't think this could happen, and when it did, people were just like, "What the fuck? We all don't know what to do." It fucked everything up, man. Everything.
Yeah, it did. I mean, they losing billions. I think they said like maybe $2 or $3 billion that the industry is losing. And I go to concerts. I go to like 4, 5, and 6 concerts a year. You know what I mean? Seeing Bobby Caldwell, you know, going to the Soul Fest at the Concord Pavilion, and just annual gigs that you used to going to. You know what I mean? Embracing them old artists. Like I seen Club Nouveau over there recently, and you know what I mean? It's just Lakeside and the Cameo, they barely getting around, but they still doing it. Like, those artists don't have to make no new music and still have the luxury of going out every year and getting their money. And now everything has changed. You know what I mean? Like, we kind of like all on the same level right now. Even with the athletes and all the
Sin in France. Sin DJs every Saturday over there in France. He hasn't been able to do that.
You know what I'm saying? That's crazy.
Yeah, he's on the ones and twos also, man.
Yeah, that's what's up. Much love to the DJs, man. You got to keep us alive. Like I said, like, Eric B, you couldn't say Eric B without Rakim. You couldn't say Jam Master Day without Run DMC. And then as time went by, the rapper wanted to try to do it on their own. But we was like the orchestrator. We had dropped the tracks, and, you know, like Pete Rock and CL Smooth. I mean, it's like you work in the unison like a basketball player. You know what I mean? You know, now a lot of people got away from that. You know, but that's what made hip hop real great to me. That DJ. That's why I still never stop DJing. Yeah,
man, that's long live the DJs. 2 years ago today, I want to say this too before we leave. 2 years ago today, the world lost DJ Ready Red. Hell of a DJ. The first guy to make Tony Montana sing on a record. And many have done that since. You know, he never got credit for it either. You know, but true pioneer, man. True pioneer.
Yep.
Man, and shout out to you. Keep doing what you're doing. And we definitely want to have you on again. I want to do a Richmond No Limit Richmond Roundtable. If we can make that happen. Yeah, if we can make that happen with you, Big O, Chili, whoever else wants to be a part of it. You know, and I mean, of course, I know it won't happen, but I would love for Master P to be a part of it as well. You know, that would be awesome to hear all you guys just reminiscing about those particular days. You know,
that would be great. That would be great. Like
even
you
King
say,
George, I imagine you and King George haven't spoken in years, have you?
Nope. I used to see him over there at Rasputin in San Leandro trying to push his little CDs, and I was pushing my mixtapes. But I was like, wonder why Master P didn't take care of him. You know what I mean? Like,
he seemed pretty hurt in the documentary, man. I think there was a moment where he broke down a little bit.
Yeah, he did.
You know, that's you know, you think sometimes all time heals all wounds, but Apparently, sometimes it just doesn't. I don't know. P's going through a lot of shit right now too himself. I know. I've seen him. He made a video the other day, and then of course C Murder, man. Man, everybody's hoping he can get out. Been in there. I interviewed C Murder in 2004, like when he, not long after he went in, 2003 maybe.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah. I interviewed him a few times since he's been in there, and it's sad that he's still in there all this time later. There's so much evidence in his favor, but the system's real corrupt down there. It's crazy corrupt down there.
I wouldn't wish that on nobody, man.
No.
That's a sad situation.
Yeah.
Sad situation. But King George, he was cool. It was always a mystery, but I think go back to Kevin. Everybody want to, lust for this money, but I think, like, when when Dr. Dre brothers died and they was on the road, they all embraced him and said, you still got more brothers with us. Like, they didn't really take that time and mourn. They just was worried about the business, and I think that's what made Pete say, you know what, I'm not fucking with them because they just don't want to. It's a sensitive time, you know what I mean? So if you also just lusting off of money and can't just pump your brakes for a minute to help me mourn with my brother, then I think that puts them the wrong way. You know what I mean? So a lot of people, just like I said, a lot of these interviews I hear and a lot of sensationalism, and it just shows you how people hunger for this fame. You know what I mean? And what makes me happy is if I DJ a gig and everybody's saying, good job, DJ, and I might have made a few racks, but it's just like, that's more rewarding to me than money. You understand? Because I'm just trying to do my job and please these people. I'm not just lusting for this money. The money is going to come. You know what I mean? I just want to make everybody happy and have that kind of energy where everybody is just vibing. And I feel like I did my job instead of just going up there and just putting on some whack tracks and just, going through the motions. I'm really trying to, entertain the people. So that's why I still love music, because I like to make people happy.
Yeah, it's the universal language, man. That's the one thing that, one common bond that all humans around the globe have. We all love music, It's very difficult to live without it.
You hit it right on the head. Universal language.
Well, it's mind stimulation, man. It's brings out emotions. If music is done right, it's gonna make you either reflect or make you think. You know what I'm saying? It's powerful stuff. It's powerful stuff. That's why all civilizations have used it for thousands of years. As long as we've been here.
I embrace all genres, from Sting to opera to rock, country. You know what I mean?
All that.
I don't discriminate on nothing. You know what I mean? I just embrace it all. I can only deal with certain genres for a certain period of time, but I got my lane that I'm in, but I embrace it all.
Yeah. I'm in the '90s hip hop lane, but you're right, man. I might be bumping Phil Collins, and then I might go back and listen to Grand Funk Railroad or Fats Domino. I don't, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
There's so much. It's limitless. There's no limit to the music out there. But hey, Grandmaster Scratch, again, I want to thank you for taking the time out to do this. And, we'll be at you real soon, man. Let's put together this Richmond Roundtable and see if we can,
Scott.
maybe even get P involved. That would be dope right there. I think, because I really think, man, you guys haven't talked. I really think if you guys talk, it would be a good thing. It would be a positive thing.
It would. I mean, it ain't got to do with monetary. It's just, reminiscing and just, it's amazing how he turned out. You know what I mean? So, I turned out great, too. Like I said, I ain't got no regrets. But it's just, nobody ever would have thought that Master P would be who he is. And then what trips me out is how many people shout out to Kanye talking about the Goldmaster P feelings is just a fragment of my imagination to I'm about it like Master P, Jay-Z, you know what I mean? It's just like, I'm like, is this nigga paying these people or what? But they just give it up to him because of that 80-20 and how he tempts the system, you know.
Stuff we're going to let you guys check out. You gave me like a mix with, what is it, this is the original EP?
Yeah, it start off, like I said, with No Limit, then it go into What's the Deal, that's the original What's the Deal EP, those two tracks, and then it goes into, you know, the Untouchables' very first project.
So these first two tracks, were these were these versions ever released?
I mean, just on the streets, it was out the trunk stuff. You know what I mean? It wasn't polished, but people was impressed with it because I thought it was genius that Master P would take a picture of a picture and then, you know, get the graphics and set it on the side, the font, and then bend the cover and put it in the jewel case. Because we didn't have these computers and printers like we got now, or, you know, mailbox, et cetera, or whatever you're going to go.
Crafty with the scissors and paste, man.
Yeah. I thought that was dope. I mean, seriously. I thought that was like, I wasn't ashamed of the shit. I mean, it was tacky a little bit, but it was better than nothing. You know what I mean? Because we couldn't afford it.
Hey, it got the point across, and you know, eventually it went from that to, you know what I'm saying, #1 Billboard records and, you know, platinum plaques. And so it started. That's what we're talking about now, folks. Is the foundation. You know what I'm saying? The very beginning. You can't have a building without the foundation. It's impossible.
Exactly. That's the brick and mortar. That's the humble beginning.
Brick and mortar, man. It's you know, again, man. Where would they be if it wasn't, you know, if certain people like yourself weren't in the mix? You know what I'm saying? Everything has to click and align at the right time. And
it's like, it's like molding a basketball player or Jordan or.
Make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, like, comment, share. Also go over to UGSforLife.com, download the entire archive, and check out new episodes on Apple Podcasts and Blog Talk Radio.